20,000 years ago, getting sick was deadly. It started with a cough, and the tribe panicked. He lay weak inside the hut, burning with fever. Nobody understood what was happening to him. A healer arrived, claiming he could fix it. They believed angry spirits were causing the sickness. The whole tribe gathered, worried for their friend. The first instinct was always water from the stream. Someone searched through the bushes for anything helpful. Certain leaves were known to ease pain and fever. Herbs were crushed between stones and mixed with water. Water and crushed herbs became the very first medicine. The sick man was forced to drink the mixture. It tasted absolutely terrible every single time. Willow bark was peeled carefully from the tree. Chewing on bark actually relieved pain and fever. Sometimes the fever climbed higher despite everything they tried. They carried him to the stream to cool down. Lowering into cold water brought immediate relief. Sitting close to smoke was thought to clear sickness. Burning herbs created smoke meant to drive illness away. They dug pits and filled them with heated stones. Water poured onto hot stones made thick healing steam. Sweating it out was believed to push sickness away. Sometimes it actually worked and the fever finally broke. They picked wildflowers, testing every petal for hidden power. Sticky tree resin was scraped and saved for wounds. That same resin sealed cuts and protected them. Wet clay from riverbanks had surprising healing properties. A clay mask across the forehead drew out fever. Some even ate the earth itself for healing. They watched animals closely to learn what was safe. Copying animals became one of their earliest sciences, but trial and error came with real consequences. One wrong mushroom could be deadly, so warnings were shouted. The elders held the deepest knowledge of all. Entire tribes memorized which plants healed and which harmed. Stories were told by firelight to preserve this knowledge. Every plant and stone was studied and remembered carefully. When illness struck, the whole tribe worked together. They listened closely to the body for clues. Hands pressed against the chest checked the heartbeat. Some carved symbols into bark to record knowledge. Cave walls were painted with healing rituals and symbols. They searched deeper into caves for new answers. Strange fungi grew on the damp cave walls. One day, mold was found growing on old hide. That mold was placed on an infected wound. Against all odds, the wound actually began healing. Long before anyone understood they had found antibiotics, pressing and kneading the body became early massage. In extreme cases, they drilled directly into the skull. This was called trepanning, meant to release trapped pressure. Remarkably, many patients actually survived this procedure. Archaeologists still find healed skulls bearing proof today. They believe the sun itself carried healing power. Sick bodies were placed directly in warm sunlight. Warriors stood guard protecting the sick from danger. Keeping distance helped prevent illness from spreading further. Staying apart when sick became an early instinct. Covering the mouth while coughing was practiced early. Washing hands in flowing water kept illness at bay. Wounds were wrapped using strips of woven plant fiber. Tools were heated over fire to sterilize them. Broken bones were splinted with sticks and bound tightly. Healing took weeks with little to do but wait. Rituals and prayers were performed beside every patient. Protective charms were tied around the sick for hope. Healers danced wildly around the fire to restore health. Drums beat steadily. Rhythm believed to carry healing power. Slowly, the first signs of recovery began appearing, and eventually, against the odds, he survived. The entire tribe celebrated together with pure relief. But not everyone survived, and graves told that truth. Survival in this era was never guaranteed for anyone. Adults shielded the children first and always. A mother held her sick child close for warmth. Warm broth was fed slowly to ease the illness. Bones simmered for hours, creating humanity's first real medicine. Drinking something warm brought comfort nothing else could match. Wild honey was prized for its natural healing power. Honey soothed throats made raw from constant coughing. Slowly, color returned to weary faces across the village. Sometimes illness swept through the entire tribe at once. The few healthy ones carried everyone else through it. Exhaustion set in, but they kept working without rest. The whole village depended entirely on working together. Even invisible threats were fought with everything they had. They had no understanding of germs, only fear, whether spirit or sickness. The danger felt the same. Evil spirits were always blamed for unexplained illness. Rituals were performed to drive these unseen forces out. Fire itself was treated almost like a living medicine. Offerings of berries and herbs were made for health. They tested remedy after remedy, refusing to give up. Different plants were compared side by side carefully. When something worked, it was shared with the whole tribe. Successful remedies were saved carefully for next time. Knowledge traveled with them from place to place. Tribes traded remedies like they traded food and tools. Slowly, medical knowledge spread far beyond one tribe. Tools were organized, forming humanity's very first medical kit. Some healers traveled between villages carrying their knowledge. Elders taught the young everything they had ever learned. The next generation slowly mastered what their elders knew. Years passed and knowledge deepened with every season. Eventually, a trusted healer earned the whole tribe's respect. Caves became storage for dried herbs and remedies. Supplies were preserved carefully for difficult seasons ahead. Winter brought new dangers and illness spread more easily. Entire families huddled together just for warmth and survival. The world outside was harsh and completely unforgiving. They ate whatever they could find just to survive. Hunger weakened the body and made sickness worse. Even with almost nothing, everything was always shared. A successful hunt meant new strength for the village. Cooked food changed everything and made survival more possible. Fire itself may have been humanity's very first medicine. Striking stones together created the spark that changed everything. With fire came warmth, safety, and a fighting chance. Boiling water made it safer to drink without knowing why. Cleaner water meant far fewer illnesses spreading through the tribe. They learned to avoid stagnant pools that caused sickness. Simple filtration through sand and stone improved everything. They were far smarter than most people give credit for. Each new sunrise brought another chance to survive another day. Slowly, the tribe adapted to every challenge nature gave them. This long road of discovery eventually led to modern medicine. Willow bark used by cavemen is behind modern aspirin. That accidental mold discovery echoes into modern penicillin today. The first healers were ancestors of every doctor alive. Their methods seem strange, but their instincts were often right. Nature provided everything they needed if they knew where to look. Wisdom was earned the hardest possible way every time. Together, the tribe endured what no single person could survive. Symbols of healing were carved and treasured for generations. Hope was given freely even in the smallest gestures. Knowledge spread slowly across the land tribe by tribe. Generation after generation carried this wisdom forward. For thousands of years it was passed down by word. In many ways, survival itself was their greatest medicine. Every small discovery mattered more than anyone could imagine. Slowly but surely, they actually figured it out. The village settled into a quiet and peaceful evening. The story came full circle from sickness back to strength. He stood tall now, no longer shivering by the fire. Medicine's long journey began right here around this fire. They survived absolutely everything the world threw at them, and that against impossible odds is exactly how they did it. This is the story of survival written before history began.